My name is Ackeem Ngwenya. I'm a multi-disciplinary designer. Today, I'm going to talk about my design approach, as well as a project that I'm currently working on. I'm here today partly because during the 2010 Design Indaba, I listened to this man, Alejandro, present his work. He talked about his creative solution to the problem of social housing under a very limited budget. His presentation fundamentally changed my view of design and made me to reconsider where my creative abilities would be most useful. Now, most design products and services are developed for people in the middle to the top of the socioeconomic pyramid, while the base of the pyramid is often ignored. In my design practice, I turn the pyramid upside down because I believe design and creativity can have a tremendous impact on solving some of our crippling and persistent social problems. And there are already great projects doing just that. On the top left, there is the Hippo roller, which makes it easier for people to transport water. Top right, the one laptop per child equips children from poor communities with necessary skill sets for the 21st century. Bottom right, the Freedom Chair makes it easier for people in wheelchairs to navigate rough terrain. And I think we all know of M-Pesa, which makes it possible for people from poor communities to have access to financial services that traditional institutions will not grant them. And these projects, for me, are very meaningful because where I grew up, most of these very basic services that I now take for granted are not yet available. I grew up in a remote village in rural Malawi, where head loading and walking long distances with such load is part of everyday life. And this includes collecting water, collecting crops from farms, and taking such crops to market centers, as there are no transport services or transport infrastructure to facilitate such transportation. And so when the opportunity came for me to work on a graduation project, it was very easy for me to want to work on something that would have the potential to help people in places such as where I grew up. Now, the general approach to the problem of inadequate infrastructure is for government to build road networks, which is expensive and might be subject to corruption. So instead of doing this, I thought, how about we develop something that works in spite of the terrible road conditions. So I came up with the idea of a transforming wheel that can be adapted to different terrains, such as the muddy and rough terrains. So on one extreme, you have a wheel with a large ground clearance for rough terrains, and on the other extreme, it transforms to a wheel with a large contact area for muddy or sandy terrains. And this is how the wheel is supposed to work. Now, developing the mechanism to work as it does was a challenge in itself, but developing the covering material is an even bigger challenge. It's an even bigger challenge because the material has to be both solid and flexible enough to allow the wheel to change when it has to change. And these are some of the examples that I've been working on, and I'm still working on. Well, I also discovered that the wheel mechanism can be used in a different way. That I took a scrap tire from a junkyard and took my mechanism and expanded it into the tire, which creates this robust, puncture-proof, and very easy to install wheel, which takes about less than a minute. And so this could be a cheap alternative and could be useful in some areas. I've managed to get this far with my project because of support that I've received from different people and organizations. A lot of people contributed to my crowdfunding campaign, which I used to raise funding for tuition on behalf of the project. The James Dyson Foundation gave me the first support to get started with the project. The Shadowworth Foundation has enabled me to carry on working on the project after graduation. And of course, the help of press, media, and Africa is now, again, with Design Indaba. And this is what I've managed to do with the support that has been given to me. And this is essentially my process and where I intend to be going with the project. Thank you.